The Quest for the Amabilis Fir by Gert, Ian, Melissa, Minhyuk, Cece, and Grace. Once upon a time, there were 6 students in Science 1 on the quest to find the elusive Amabilis Fir. The mysterious Amabilis Fir stands especially tall and straight, growing up to 50 meters in height. Pale gray, smooth, and blistered bark covers the trunk, which often hosts white lichen and dark green blunt needles, with 2 silver-white bands on the lower surface covering the branches. Atop its branches sit deep purple barrel-shaped cones. Indeed, its name Amabilis, or lovely, is quite fitting, especially to the student who finds a tree. Legend has it that any Science 1 student who finds a tree will gain the ability to ace finals, but the Amabilis Fir turned out to be impossibly difficult to find. First, they came across the Douglas fir. "This isn't it," said Melissa. "Why?" asked Gert. "Because Douglas firs grow between 50 and 100 meters and have flat, soft, linear, and pointy-tipped needles that encircle the branches. Plus, the cones are 5 to 11 centimeters long and have long, tridentated or 3-pointed bracts sticking out between the scales. Also, the bark is smooth and gray-brown, with gummy resin-filled blisters when young. The bark thickens and becomes grooved with age, making dark, reddish-brown ridges." Disappointed, the group stopped for some soup. Gert had some, but died a few hours later. The soup had been poisoned with angel wing mushrooms, which contained cyanide. Someone had poisoned the soup on purpose. Although stunned, the surviving students were all secretly glad that there was now one pure competitor after the Amabilis Fir. Next, they climbed to the top of a sitka spruce to get a better view. The tree was difficult to find because the bark was thin and scaly, and the old tree's lowest branch was about 30 to 40 meters high. Plus, the needles were stiff and sharp. Lastly, the 6 to 10 centimeter long cylindrical cones kept falling on their heads. Luckily, the scales on the cones were thin and flexible, leaving the students mostly unharmed. Suddenly, Cece was pushed off at the tree. As she fell, she grabbed onto Grace, and the 2 of them fell to their deaths. Everyone was stunned. They were the only ones around, leaving but one possible conclusion. There was a murderer amongst them. Since no one confessed, they had no choice but to continue on their quest. It was what Cece and Grace would have wanted. And then there were 3. Then, as the remaining students retraced their steps, Melissa was suddenly hit by a particularly sharp pine cone. She curled up underneath the drooping, aromatic branches of a rather short western red cedar and died leaning against the gray, stringy bark and scale-like leaves, surrounded by 1 centimeter long, egg-shaped cones. Around her, many red cedars grew, most about 60 meters tall, with trunks that spread out at the base. And then there were 2. When Minhyuk decided to go to the bathroom behind the tree, but he turned the corner, he was faced with a cougar, a bear, a wolf, and a squirrel. He fought them valiantly, but in the end was killed. He lay next to the feather-like western hemlock, shrouded in small cones, varying from green to brown in color. The flat, soft, glossy, and wide space needles, which were yellow-green on top and white underneath, shaded him as he lay next to the rough, scaly, reddish bark that was dark brown. The small tree next to Minhyuk would grow to be 50 meters in height. And then there was one. Ian was all alone. He continued the search for the Amabilis Fir. And finally found it. He was understandably ecstatic. But then the ground suddenly collapsed beneath him and he fell into a deep hole. It had been a trap. At the top of the hole stood Gert. Gert had been the murderer all along. He had faked his own death, pushed Cece out of the tree, dropped the killer pine cones on Melissa, and released the animals on Minhyuk. He had wanted the Amabilis all to himself, and he got it. He left Ian in the hole to wither away and took the tree with him. This he would ace his finals. He got 17%, instead of studying he had spent his days nurturing his new Amabilis Fir. And so, this just goes to show, you can't teach Science 1. Science 1 cheats you. The end.